Think of a bridge, and it will most likely be an arch or suspension bridge, or possibly an iconic bascule bridge. And I had to look that up. Bascule means simply balanced in French, also referred to as a drawbridge or a lifting bridge. But there is another kind of bridge, the Transporter Bridge, but you will be forgiven for not thinking of one because there's only a dozen in existence and only a couple of dozen ever built. And of the survivors, only 6 actually still function. They are the mini-disc of the bridge building world, a neat fix that didn't take off. Invented in 1873 by Charles Smith of Hartlepool, the idea was to allow tall ships to pass under the bridge and use the gondola suspended on cables as a kind of air ferry, although his invention was rejected at the time. A Spanish engineer, Alberto Palicio, took up the idea 20 years later, designing the Vizcaya Bridge in Spain. Britain has 3 such bridges, making it a world leader. The Middlesbrough Transporter Bridge featuring in a whole TV series, Aus Wiedersehen Pet, back in 2002, where it gets, fictionally I may add, shipped off to Arizona. Newport has this particularly splendid example. Built in 1906, a world beater being the longest, and joint highest, built on the River Usk estuary, where the tidal range is too great for a ferry. At low tide, there's a lot of mud, and built to allow tall ships to pass under and access the old port town. Restored at great cost in 2010, it's now a tourist attraction where you can spend £4 going back and forth all day, and if you are lucky, tell the operator it's your birthday treat, you may actually get to drive the bridge. The more daring can climb the stairs and walk across the top. The death knell to the Transporter was improvements in bridge design. Building higher arches and suspension bridges is much easier in recent decades given the improvements in steel and concrete engineering. Likewise, bascule bridges and swing bridges benefited from engineering improvements in electric motors and structural design, enabling them to be viable bridging solutions to this day. Like the mini-disc, the Transporter Bridge solved a problem, but not as well as other solutions. Ultimately, the rise of container shipping and bigger vessels moved ports out of cities, and thus removing the need to have bridges that allowed tall ships to pass underneath them. The Transporter Bridge ultimately never went anywhere, but you can still go nowhere in Newport, Wales as a day trip.